But let's talk about probably the number one reason someone would not vote. And that's just laziness.
Okay. Yeah.
Because it's a thing. You gotta go there and you have to stand in line. And this is going to be terrible this year. They're going to have each person 6 feet apart. Lines. The masks.
Yeah.
They're going to make it so difficult to vote. And a lot of people are going to be like, oh man, I'm not, that 1 hour of my life is not worth it.
Let alone the 4 hours, that some lines turn into.
Yeah. Yeah, it could be terrible. It really could.
Take the day off.
But you still got to do it.
Talk to your boss, get the day off. And take some material to read. Take a backpack. Take water bottles, some books to read, some snacks.
Hand it out. Say, hey guys.
Take a camping chair. And sit in line and move it with you. If you get tired.
Yeah.
Just do whatever you need to do to make it work.
Be there
What's that?
Be the first to vote. Take a sleeping bag.
That's right.
Before.
Yeah.
Now, one of my favorite Shakespeare speeches is the St. Crispin's Day speech in King Henry V. And I am going to play it because I don't dare read Shakespeare. People would stop listening right away.
Or stop watching Shakespeare.
It's a couple minutes long. Yeah. It's a couple minutes long, and I might even cut parts of it that are not part of the discussion. But it's worth listening to, and I think it's relevant here. And I'm going to go ahead and set it up now.
What's he that wishes so? My cousin Westmoreland? No, my fair cousin. If we are marked to die, we are enough to do our country loss. And if to live, the fewer men, the greater share of honor. God's will, I pray thee, wish not one man more. Rather proclaim it, Westmoreland, through my host, that he which hath no stomach to this feast, let him depart. His passport shall be drawn, and crowns for convoy put into his purse. We would not die in that man's company that fears his fellowship to die with us. This day is called the Feast of Crispian. He that outlives this day and comes safe home will stand a tiptoe when this day is named, and rouse him at the name of Crispian. He that shall live this day and see old age will yearly on the vigil feast his neighbors and say, tomorrow is St. Crispian. Then will he strip his sleeve and show his scars and say, these wounds I had on Crispin's day. Old men forget. Yet all shall be forgot, but he'll remember with advantages what feats he did that day. Then shall our names, familiar in his mouth as household words, Harry the King, Bedford and Exeter, Warwick and Talbot, Salisbury and Gloucester, be in their flowing cups freshly remembered. This story shall the good man teach his son, and Crispin Crispian shall ne'er go by from this day to the ending of the world, but we in it shall be remembered. We few, we happy few, we band of brothers. For he today that sheds his blood with me shall be my brother, be he ne'er so base. And gentlemen in England now abed shall think themselves accursed they were not here, and hold their manhoods cheap, whiles any speaks that fought with us upon St. Crispin's Day!
So, the reason I point this out is because I don't care. We've said it over and over again. All of these fights between the right and the left, they always boil down to abortion. This, right now, this is a fight against abortion.
Yeah.
And number one, okay, I don't do a whole lot for the pro-life side. And I imagine all of you out there don't either, because not a lot of people do. But you could devote 1 hour every 4 years to the pro-life movement. And that's the very least you can do. And someday this fight's going to be over. I don't know if this generation is going to win the fight, but eventually we'll win the fight, or the whole world will end. But I think the fight's going to end. I think we're going to win. And once we've won, and we talk about abortion the same way we talk about slavery
right.
we do now,
Yep.
slavery or the Holocaust, aren't you going to be embarrassed to say that you couldn't even devote that 1 hour to vote for the right guy?
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, you're going to... Whenever someone talks about, like, the equality, the civil rights marches during the 60s, people wear that as kind of a badge of honor. And those, a lot of times, people who didn't take part in those marches lie about it. Because it's an embarrassment not to have marched.
That they didn't do anything at all.
And they're jealous of people who did march. And you're going to be jealous of not being part of the group that ended abortion in America.
Yeah, I mean, if you can't even set one day aside to at least just go make sure that you're casting your vote the right way.
It is so serious, and it's going to affect so many lives. Don't be one of those people who embarrassingly say, yeah, I didn't vote. I had things to do. I had to work, or I had to, go to school or whatever. I don't care what it is. Take the day off. The only excuse you have is the kids, that you got to watch your kids or something. Take them with you.
Yeah.
Make them stand in line. Make them witness history. I don't care what it is. You've got to get there that day and vote.
Now, many venues you can vote early. Like, for example, in my county, they have multiple early voting days. It's the actual polls. I'm not talking about mail-in or anything like that. And you're not bound to the specific precinct you live in. Now, not all counties are like that. And so there's a lot that in order to vote, you really do have to go out on that day. But look it up in your county. If you need to pick a different day, go early, whatever, find out what the situation is if you need to make it convenient. But at least get out there.
I don't trust them.
You don't trust what?
I don't trust any of the... I don't trust the absentee ballots.
No, these aren't I'm not talking about absentee or mail-in or anything. I'm talking about physically going to the polls and voting. They just have multiple days. I mean, it's the same as any other voting. It's the same as the regular voting day.
No, it's not. No, it's not. On voting day, there's a bunch of people out there making sure that everything is handled legally. But nobody's there for 3 weeks before voting day to make sure that it's happening.
Well, they don't do it for 3 weeks. It might be like 5 days. And yeah, there's a lot of people there. I mean, it's first of all, you've got all the poll workers, some, from each party and stuff like that, although they're not there in a party capacity. And then you've got people standing, there's lines all the time.
Okay.
It's some counties do it.
I'm telling you this. The best way to keep the fraud at a minimum, which we already know there's going to be a lot of fraud, but the best way to keep it at a minimum is to get on there on the day we vote and vote. I think that's the most sure way of having your vote counted.
Yeah, I agree.
So if you can do it, do it.
And if you can't do it, find a way.
Yeah.
And I'll add one more thing. I gave you a packing list. I'll add one more thing. Take a rosary.
Definitely take a rosary, because we could use the prayers. We could use the prayers. We could use the prayers.